I remember the day I first saw him. A young man arrived in our busy city wearing old, worn clothes. He did not stand out as someone from wealth, and many thought he was just a poor worker. He worked small jobs in the market and on the streets. I watched him quietly as he smiled at everyone he met, always polite and kind. Little did we know, he was a prince in disguise. I heard that he had come from a faraway land where he was born into a royal family. But he chose to leave his home to search for true love, not one that was based on wealth. He traveled by foot and bus, carrying only a small bag. In every town he passed, he worked hard and treated everyone with respect. His simple life was a lesson in humility. When he started his odd jobs, he cleaned market stalls, swept the streets, and even helped in small shops. I noticed that he never complained, no matter how tough the work was. His smile was warm and genuine. People began to trust him, and his kind words spread hope among those who knew hardship well. Every day, he took on a different job. One day he carried heavy loads at a warehouse, another day he washed dishes at a small restaurant. He never pretended to be more than he was. I admired how he worked hard and never asked for special treatment. His actions showed that true value comes from the heart. At the local market, he helped old vendors set up their stalls. His gentle nature made people smile, even on hot, tiring days. I often saw him sharing his modest lunch with those who had none. He made friends easily and treated every person with care. I watched him help a young woman carry heavy baskets. He always lent a hand to anyone in need, without expecting anything back. His kindness was simple and clear. Even when others were busy with their own struggles, he made time for everyone. Some older folks whispered that he came from a royal family, but he never spoke of it. He preferred to let his actions speak for him. I wondered if he hid a secret behind that gentle smile. His quiet way of living made me curious about who he really was. He chose to live in a small rented room in a crowded part of the city. The place was humble, with little more than a cot and a few personal items. Yet, he kept it neat and cared for it like it was home. His simple living showed that he valued honesty and hard work over luxury. I saw him work long hours at a local workshop. His hands were rough from labor, but his heart remained soft. He never complained about the heat or the hard work. Instead, he always smiled and thanked those who gave him a chance to work. One day, I overheard him say that he was searching for a love that was real, not one given for money. His words were soft but filled with hope. He told anyone who would listen that true love comes from caring and respect. His search was honest and clear, and many began to take notice. Walking the busy city streets, he greeted everyone kindly, even the shopkeepers and street vendors. I often saw him pause to help someone in trouble. His presence made the harsh city life a bit warmer. People started to believe that kindness was a rare and powerful gift. I remember a cold morning when a small girl's smile lit up his face. He had bought her a sweet treat and played with her for a while. That moment showed me that love can be found in small acts. It was not about wealth but about genuine care and sharing simple joys. After long days of work, he often sat quietly by the roadside. I would see him writing in a small notebook, perhaps keeping his thoughts. His quiet evenings were a time for reflection. I wondered what dreams and hopes filled those pages and if they held the secret of his true identity. Not long after, I noticed a young woman who worked in a small tailor shop. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. He would visit her shop often, not to ask for favors, but to chat and share stories. I sensed that there was a special connection forming between them. One rainy afternoon, they met by chance on a quiet street. The rain fell softly as they talked, unaware of the world around them. Their conversation was simple and honest. It was clear that they saw each other not as status or wealth, but as kind souls in search of real love. They began to share meals together. Sometimes, they ate simple food at a small restaurant, and other times, they shared a bowl of soup on a cold night. Each meal was filled with laughter and soft words. It was as if their hearts found comfort in the shared simplicity of their lives. In quiet parks and small cafes, they talked about life, dreams, and the meaning of love. Their words were soft and honest. I listened from a distance, amazed by how naturally they connected. It was clear that they both believed that true love did not come from wealth or fancy words. Rumors started to spread about his true background, but he always brushed them aside with a kind smile. He preferred that people see him for who he was now. The young woman seemed to know more than she let on, yet she never pushed him for answers. Their bond was built on trust and respect. Every day, I saw him help strangers without a second thought. Whether it was mending a broken cart or guiding lost children, his kindness shone through. The community began to notice his acts of service. His actions spoke louder than any title or claim of royalty ever could. The young woman began to trust him more with every shared moment. They talked for hours, and slowly, her eyes filled with hope. I saw them walking together, hand in hand, their laughter mixing with the city's sounds. It was a bond built on simple truths and honest care. Despite his humble life, whispers about his royal roots started to circulate in small circles. Some said he was a prince in disguise. I listened quietly to these whispers, but he never confirmed them. Instead, he continued his work with the same gentle smile and kind heart. One evening, he sat with the young woman under a starry sky. He spoke of his desire to find a love that was pure and true. He said that wealth and titles meant little if the heart was not filled with kindness. I could see the hope in his eyes, and it made me believe in the power of genuine love. On many occasions, he helped those in need without any show of pride. He mended a broken fence and helped an old man carry water from the well. The young woman watched these acts with admiration. Each act of kindness deepened her respect for him and strengthened their bond. News spread in the city about a mysterious, kind man who worked odd jobs. His story reached many ears, and people began to ask questions. I heard some friends whispering that he might be more than he appeared. The talk of a hidden royal past added mystery to his humble ways. I followed him one busy day as he moved from job to job. He washed cars, helped in small shops, and even delivered newspapers. Throughout the day, his smile never faded. It was clear that his mission was not about money or fame, but about finding a love that cared for his soul. Late in the evening, I saw him sitting alone in a small park. He looked up at the sky and smiled softly, as if holding a secret hope in his heart. That night, I felt that his hope was real and pure. Even in the midst of hard work and quiet struggle, his eyes shone with the promise of true love. Word of his deed spread, and soon, people began to gather in small groups just to see him. They shared stories of his kindness and the change he brought. The young woman, too, became more involved in these gatherings. She spoke of the power of honesty and simple truths, and her words touched many hearts. One day, the young woman invited him to a small family dinner at her home. The meal was simple, yet full of warmth and care. They talked for hours about their dreams and fears. It was a night of quiet understanding that brought them closer, and the family saw the love growing between them. I visited her home one evening and saw how simple and modest it was. Yet, every corner of that small house radiated love and warmth. He admired the home as if it were a treasure. In that modest setting, their love grew naturally, with every shared smile and gentle word. Life in the city was not always easy. Both of them faced hard days and many small struggles. Yet, they found strength in each other's presence. I saw them helping each other during tough times, and their bond grew stronger with every challenge. Their love was like a small flame that kept burning, even in the darkest moments. On a busy afternoon in the market, I noticed them sharing a quiet moment. A loving glance passed between them as if they spoke without words. That simple look was filled with hope and truth. In that moment, I knew that their love was real and not based on any wealth or title. One evening, I overheard them speaking in hushed tones. The young woman asked gently about his past, and he only smiled softly. He said that some things were best kept private, yet his eyes told me he was honest. It was a secret that added to his mystery but did not change his kind heart. A friend of mine from the neighborhood told me that he had seen him talking with a known teacher. They discussed books and ideas, and I learned that he was very well educated. This news surprised me, as I had only seen him as a humble worker. His wisdom and soft speech made me believe he was meant for something greater. Every day, I saw them spending more time together. They helped each other with daily tasks and shared moments of quiet joy. Their bond grew stronger with every shared laugh and gentle touch. The simplicity of their love was a reminder that true connection comes from caring and respect. Trouble came when some city folk began to gossip about his true background. They wondered if his love was real or just a game. The young woman faced many questions from people who doubted him. But she stood by him, showing that her love was strong and not based on any rumors. One day, a rumor spread that he might soon leave the city to return to his old life. This rumor hurt both him and the young woman deeply. They sat together in silence, worried about what the future might hold. I could see the pain in their eyes as they struggled to understand the hurtful whispers. Slowly, hints of his true identity began to emerge. An old friend from his past recognized him on the street and spoke softly to him. He did not deny his royal roots, but he explained that his heart belonged with those who knew his true self, kind and humble. His words were gentle and full of hope. After that day, he started to accept his past. He talked about his royal education and the lessons he had learned in his home country. Yet, he made it clear that his love for the simple life was his choice. I saw him balancing his royal identity with his humble spirit, and it made him even more respected. News came that his father, the old king, had grown weak. The people began to say that the prince must return to take his place. I heard whispers in the streets that the time for change was near. Despite the talk of a throne, he remained the same kind man who worked hard for love. Soon, the old king passed away, and the people accepted him as their new leader. The prince was crowned, but he did not let power change him. He ruled with the same kindness and honesty that had made him popular in the city. The young woman stood by his side, a true partner in love and life. After his coronation, the city felt different. There was a sense of hope and a promise of better days. The people saw that even a king could be humble. His rule was marked by fairness, and many believed that true love had guided him all along. Even with a crown on his head, he continued to live simply. He often visited the market and talked to ordinary folk. I watched him blend his royal duties with his everyday life, showing that power does not change a kind heart. His choices proved that love and humility go hand in hand. People in the city began to celebrate the new king. They felt that his rise was a sign of fairness and truth. Festivals were held, and songs were sung in praise of the man who had come from humble beginnings. The joy in the air was real and touching. One morning, the king made a public speech. He spoke in simple words about the value of love, hard work, and truth. His speech touched many hearts and calmed the rumors that had once troubled the city. I could see that his words came from a deep and sincere place. At a gathering, the young woman stood beside him, and it was clear to all that their love was real. They spoke quietly to each other, and their eyes said more than words ever could. The people saw that she loved him for who he was, not for his wealth or title. It was a love built on trust, care, and genuine kindness. As the days passed, their bond grew even stronger. They supported each other in every decision and shared both joys and worries. I often saw them walking together in the palace gardens, talking about their dreams for the future. Their unity was a beacon of hope for everyone around them. The kingdom celebrated a special day when he was formally crowned as king. The ceremony was simple, yet full of meaning and deep emotion. The young woman stood proudly by his side, and the people cheered. It was a day that showed that love and humility could rule a kingdom. Finally, the day came when they were married in a small, beautiful ceremony. The whole community joined in, sharing in the joy of true love. Their wedding was not lavish, but it was filled with sincere smiles, warm hugs, and honest tears of happiness. Everyone felt that this union was meant to be. After the wedding, the kingdom seemed to shine with a new light. The king and queen worked together to help their people and bring hope to all. I saw neighbors coming together and old feuds softening. Their leadership united the people, and true love became a symbol of change for the entire land. Now, I look back on these events with a full heart. The prince, who once walked among us as a humble worker, became a king who ruled with love. His journey taught us that true love is found in honesty and hard work. And so, in our kingdom, love now reigns supreme, a lesson we will never forget. Discover our modern African folktale of true love. Read about a kind, educated prince who chose to live humbly, work odd jobs, and search for love that comes from the heart, not money. Join us on this heartfelt journey and share your thoughts on real, honest love. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more African folktales.